back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be my January TBR video, and yes, you did hear that title right. This is going to be a TBR video. I have decided to bring them back for 2026 and I'm quite excited to try and see if I can stick to a TBR. If you watched my channel last year, I did TBR videos up until about April and I struggled to keep to my TBRs, and so for the rest of the year I didn't do them, but for this year I am bringing them back and I am slightly doing them slightly differently. So one of my 2026 goals is to really focus on my physical TBR. I own so many books which I feel like I neglected during 2025, so I really want to try and rectify that this year. And so what I've done, I have my lovely TBR jar here which I have filled with lots of different prompts. This is one my sister made. Well, she didn't make the jar, but she did the like stickers on it for me. And we've got a little goose on the back in a cowboy hat. I absolutely love this and I'm hoping, because I have a cute little jar for it, I might stick to it a bit better. So what I'm going to be doing for the TBR challenge is I think I'm going to start out with 4 books. And then obviously we'll see how we go. Maybe I'll do more in future months. I will obviously read more than 4 books, but I want to have the option to kind of read other things as well. So what's in this jar? So I have a mixture of things. So I have just plain reading prompts. So they are things like read a book with a pink cover, read a book that's like got the single dad trope, or friends to lovers, or things like that. So reading prompts that I could pick like lots of different books for. Then some of them I do have some actual book titles, which obviously I will have to read those ones if I pull that out. So I have all of my, or not all of them, but my Afterlight books. So from my last year's videos in 2025, I had my Afterlight books that I was picking out each month and trying to read. I have obviously didn't get all of them done, so I have put them into this jar as well. And then I have about 20 books, I think, that I went through my shelves and looked at ones that I'd had for a really long time and still want to read, but I don't have like a, I don't know, I feel like there's other things I want to read over them, so they've kind of got pushed to the back, but I do still want to read them, so I've put those in here as well. And there's about 20 of those in there, so if I don't get to them, I might like DNF them at the end of the year, we'll see. But I'm just going to run through them. I'm going to pick out my prompts, and then I thought, because if I pick out a prompt that's say like the friends to lovers, I might have like 3 or 4 options that I can pull from. So I'll gather some books together, I'll pull out the prompts, see what I get, and then I'll pull some books together that I could maybe pick from, and that way I am still doing a TBR, but I'm not like restricting myself to like I have to read this book, although some of them will be like that. So we'll dive in and pick out 4 prompts. I have tried to, I've got so many shoved in here, so we'll see what we pull out. It's quite difficult to actually get into the jar because I have mixed them up a bit. So I've got one here. I'm trying not to look, so obviously some of them are bigger than others, so they're the ones with the prompts on, so I'm just kind of try and feel around, see what we get. 3 and 4, and 1 fell out. So let's see what we've got, and obviously in the month if I decide I want to pick more, I can obviously come back and choose more from the jar. So let's see what we've got and what we're going to be reading. Obviously, as I say, I will be reading more than this. So first one is roommates or forced proximity. So I'll have to have a think about what books I have that will work for that. Then we have Cowboy Charm School. So this is an actual title of a book that I have on my shelf, so I will get that down and pick that one. Then we have Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This one, I want to reread this so that I can continue on with the series. And then the next one is Fake Dating. So I'm going to go and grab the books that I need to fulfill these prompts and then we'll come back. So I have my stack here of potential books, and I'll be honest, it was hard for some of the tropes to kind of think of which ones to read. I kind of had to look up on Goodreads like what books had what tropes to try and find some. And the roommate trope, I really struggled because I didn't mention in my previous clip, but the goal of this video is to read books that I physically own. either physically own or have on my Kindle or Audible library. So I'm not picking books that I don't have any access to, and that includes, because obviously some books are on Kindle Unlimited, so I could have access to them, but I really want to focus for my TBR on ones that I already physically have, either, as I say, physical books or actually in my Kindle library or Audible library, like already like paid for or downloaded. So I'll just run through the books. Obviously we have 2 books that are definite reads, that are you know, set that that's the book that I'm going to read. So the first one is Cowboy Charm School by Margaret Brownlee, and this is a historical romance one, so I'm really glad to be reading some historical romance. I'll just read you the blurb of this one because I have no idea what it's about. It says, Texas Ranger Brett Tucker hates to break up a wedding, but the groom, notorious criminal Frank Foster, is a danger to any woman, so he busts into the church, guns blazing, only to find he has the wrong man. Bride-to-be Kate Denver is appalled by her fiancé's over-the-top reaction to the innocent mistake and calls off the wedding for good. Guilt-ridden, Brett's desperate to get them back on track, but the more time he spends with Kate, the harder he falls, and the more he yearns to prove that he's her true match in every way. So, sounds interesting. I'm not sure what time period it's set in. 1885 it's set. So, interested to check this one out and see what I make of it. This is just one that I've picked up at some point along the way and has just sat on my shelf for years. So, hopefully we'll get to that. And then I have Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, which is book 1 in the Last Hours series. Now, I have already read this. I read this quite a long time ago when it first came out. When did this come out? Came out in 2020, so I can't remember if I read it in 2020 or 2021, but I read it around about that time, and I really want to get back into Cassandra Clare's books and continue on with the ones that I haven't read, and to continue on with this series I definitely need to reread this one. I used to be a massive fan of the Shadowhunter Chronicles series. I used to read all the books and purchase all the books. I have a few special editions. This one's just the standard edition, but yeah, I am definitely interested to get into this one. I will read the synopsis for this one. I don't think there's any spoilers in here, but I'll read that for you. So it says, Cordelia Carstairs is a shadow hunter, a warrior trained since childhood to battle demons. When she travels to London, she encounters childhood friends James and Lucy Herondale and is drawn into their world of glittering ballrooms and supernatural salons. All the while she must hide her secret love for James, who is sworn to marry someone else, but Cordelia's new life is blown apart when demon attacks devastate London. Trapped in the city, Cordelia and her friends discover that a dark legacy has gifted them with incredible powers, and a brutal choice will reveal the true cruel price of being a hero. So, sounds really good. I do remember liking this the first time around, and yeah, I'm excited to dive into this one. Or dive into it again. And then I have 3 books that I could read for fake dating and 1 book for the roommate trope. So these are the 3 books that I have for fake dating that I could read, and I'll obviously decide during the month which one I want to pick up. So we've got It's Complicated by Camilla Islay. This one is book 2 in a series. I can't remember the name of the series, but it's book 2, and I really enjoyed the first book, so I definitely want to get into this one at some point. This one's really short, so this is a very good contender for me picking it up. Then I have Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. This one's been on my shelf since it came out. This one is also book 2 in a series. What's the name of the series? Can't remember. I'll put it on screen, but it's book 2 in this series, and Tessa Bailey is very much a hit or miss author for me, which I think is why I haven't immediately jumped to pick this one up. I think I can get the audiobook of this from my library, so this one is a potential contender. And then I have Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I've recently read quite a few Megan Quinn books, and I've reignited my love for her writing. I haven't, previous to November, I hadn't read anything from her for a while, even though I do really like her books, and this one I've had on my shelf for a while as well. This one's the first book in a series as well. That's the other thing, when I was looking at some of the tropes, some of them were the middle books of the series, and I really like to read my series in order, even though with contemporary romances you don't necessarily need to, but I do that. I do prefer to read them in order. So yeah, we'll see whether this is the one that I pick up. So they are the 3 fake dating books that I have. There are other ones that I own that I could read, like the Love Hypothesis kept coming up as a fake dating book, and I am still yet to read that. I think it's the only Ali Hazelwood full-length novel that I've not read, and that's her first one, so I could pick that one up. But these are the 3. Let me know in the comments below which one you would recommend out of these 3, if there's one that you think I should pick up. That might help influence my decision. And then for roommates, the one that I picked is The Chase by Elle Kennedy. This is the first book in the Briar U series. I really want to make it my mission to finish the off-campus series and the Briar U series this year, and the Campus Diary series, because I've got 1 book left to read in that as well. Because I really enjoy Elle Kennedy's writing, and I also have this on audio as well, so I would listen to the audiobook probably, and I'm very excited to dive into this one. This one's a sports romance series, hockey romance series, so definitely really want to dive into that. But yeah, I didn't have any other books on my shelf that I could find that were roommate romances. It's not really a trope that I read a ton of, so let me know if you have any recommendations for that trope. But they are the books that I hope to read in January. Obviously I will be reading more, of course, but these are the like set ones that I'm going to read, and I will see how I do at the end of the month, or even the middle of the month. You never know, maybe I'll read all of these first thing in the month, probably not, but we'll see how we get on. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you're reading in January, and I will see you in my next one.